Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Can I start by saying I agreed not wholeheartedly, but almost entirely with the right honourable gentleman who opened the debate, and with every word of my right honourable friends, the chairman of the Procedure Committee and my right honourable friend for the Forest of Dean. I no doubt, I certainly agree with the Leader of the House when he said that democracy is not an optional extra, or words to that effect. But I have to tell him that the operation of democracy today, as we observe it in this House, is more enfeebled than I've seen it in 33 years here. Frankly, that is a tragedy, and it's a tragedy of the government's making, and one we need to fix as soon as possible. The aim of the House is to hold the government to account, but not just that, also to drive the direction of policy. And if he wants to see how it's not working properly, my right honourable friend gave one example, the example of the 6-person limit on gatherings, which has not been enforced, of course, and can't be enforced, truthfully, in a democracy, which would never have happened had it had to go through the proper procedures in this House. Similarly, the daft quarantine regulations that we've now got would never have survived the normal procedures of this House. So democracy is critical to good government, and that's not what we're seeing here today. I know it's always been an ambition of the Leader of the House to make the European Parliament look great. Well, he's succeeding today. Now, I have one single controversial thing point to make today, and it comes down to this. The fact is, this House has no life. It does not challenge ministers properly. It must be the easiest thing in the world, I've done it a few times now, to come to this dispatch box and deal with this House as it currently stands. Now, part of that arises, or in fact a large part of it arises, because of the 2-metre rule. And in fact, we can only have 50 people in the chamber. The atmosphere, the drive, the ferocity, the mood of the House just doesn't exist. And so we have to think, and my point to the Leader of the House is this: we have to think about how we get back to normal and how quickly we can get back to normal. Now, clearly, we have to do it in a safe way, both for ourselves, but also as an example to our constituents and to the country. Now, I can only think of one way that can be done. We currently have, it is said, according to government numbers, a surplus of 80,000 tests a day. So we are not short of tests anymore. We may not be exercising them all, but we've got that surplus. Austria, in Vienna Airport, manages to carry out those tests in 2 to 3 hours, from test to result. I would ask him to look at instituting that right here, every morning between 8 and 9:30, and then maybe if we don't start till 12:30, every single person who comes into this chamber can be tested. Then we don't need the 2-metre rule anymore. And then we can suddenly have back the Parliament which was and is the envy of the world.